Did this just happen? It's looking like it did. Terence Bud Crawford, 2X undisputed. In fact, the only male to be 2X undisputed. It's looking like Terence Crawford has been relieved of his IBF title. He has been stripped. I just want to see you strip. That's what I want to talk about in this video. Stay tuned. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Some very interesting news. Now, you see this picture of Terence Crawford, and on his left side, he has the red belt, which is the IBF belt, right? And it looks like Terence Crawford has been stripped, and Jaron Boots Ennis has been elevated according to the latest IBF rankings that came out. So you guys see right here, this is a previous ranking at welterweight on the IBF's official website. You see it says welterweight, which is 147 pounds. And let me blow it up for you guys so you guys can get the full view and the full picture. CH, champion. That's what it stands for. Terence Crawford. Then it says IC, which we know stands for interim champion. We knew that Jaron Boots Ennis was Terence Crawford's mandatory. I've talked about this in several videos. I, in fact, love the fight, Crawford versus Boots Ennis. Crawford has been rather dismissive of this particular fight, saying things like, you know, I've heard this story before, and I'm looking for bigger fish to fry kind of attitude. And what is Jaron Boots Ennis? It's not a big fight, yada, yada, yada. So it's looking like, according to the IBF, they've removed Terence Crawford as the champion, meaning he's no longer technically undisputed, and Jaron Ennis is now the champion, the full body champion. So again, what I am showing you right now is the previous welterweight rankings where it says CH Terence Crawford, interim champion is Jaron Ennis. Fast forward to the future, boom. There's no mention of Terence Crawford anymore. You guys see that. And it says CH. It doesn't say IC, which is interim champion, anymore. So everything pretty much stayed the same, except Crawford's name is now removed. So he was clearly the full champion because he beat Errol Spence Jr. And Errol Spence, that was the first belt that Errol Spence got. And that was versus Kell Brook. So basically, so realistically, right? So Errol became a champion and entered the game beating Kell Brook for that IBF belt. And then now you look at these and it looks like Crawford's been removed and Jaron Ennis is showing as champion. They, just like the previous ratings, they had the number 1 and 2 not rated. Previously, this was Virgil Ortiz. He was somewhere up in here in the top 3, but Virgil Ortiz is fighting in January on the Golden Boy card. He's pulled out of fights with Stanionis 2 times. Stanionis pulled out 1 time because he had to get his appendix removed. He had appendicitis or whatever, so he had the surgery for that. But 2 other times, there was some kind of medical complication from Virgil Ortiz. Now he's moving up in weight. Basically, it doesn't sound like Virgil Ortiz can make the weight, right? So he's been removed from the rankings from inactivity, and his next scheduled fight is at 154, leaving Jaron Ennis, who is the other name. Because you have to keep in mind, in boxing, in recent memory, there were really 3 names at the same time simultaneously that were making waves and noise as to who would be the next great welterweight outside of Errol Spence and Terence Crawford, like who would be their successor. And the names were Jaron Ennis, Virgil Ortiz, and Conor Benn. I just told you what happened with Virgil Ortiz's career. Now he's moving up in weight. And as far as Conor Benn, I mean, he failed a drug test on 2 separate dates, and he's been pretty inactive. He just had a recent fight. A lot of people didn't watch it. And, you know, he's kind of been removed from the conversation based on that asterisk by the fail. You know, he said he was eating eggs or whatever. So Jaron Ennis is the man, and it looks like he's the champion. After that is Cody Crowley. Now, I just made a post about this. Jaron Ennis was trying to fight Cody Crowley. And in an interview with YSM Sports, his father and trainer Bozy Ennis, said they were trying to make the fight with Cody Crowley, and things were looking like it was going to go down, and they were going to get an actual fight going on. It was supposed to be a co-feature for the fight later on this month, which is David Benavidez and Demetrius Andrade. Great, sensational card. They're putting Jermall Charlo on there with Jose Benavidez. I don't know if that was always the plan, because from what I heard, they were going to put Boots on the card. So I don't know if they're going to put him on in addition to Jermall Charlo's fight. But nonetheless, Bozy Ennis says as the fight wore on, it was decided that Cody Crowley backed out for whatever reason. They don't really know specifically why. Maybe he wanted more money, maybe someone on his team. And whatever the case is, they're not fighting next, or at least on that particular card. Maybe they can revisit it or whatever. So Jaron Boots Ennis is the man. Ego thoughts. He look big right there. Pause. Hold on. Cut look big right there on Dead Homies. He look kind of big for a welterweight. Anyway, I've been telling you guys, my opinion of Jaron Ennis hasn't changed. I've been telling you he looks to be special. He's definitely a fun watch. My favorite performance was probably his Via performance. You know me, because to me, I think I put the most respect on Via's game. Like, he had other like knockouts that were probably even crazier than the Via knockout, to be honest. But when I'm looking at like knockouts of the year and fighter of the year and all that type of stuff, I look beyond just like, oh, that was a crazy, like some people in boxing, they see a crazy knockout and they say, oh, knockout of the year. But then the fight itself didn't mean anything, or the fight was an experienced guy versus a guy with 1 week to train and he was a journeyman. So yeah, like, it's a crazy knockout and it looks crazy, but for me, I can't give no fight like that knockout of the year because it didn't mean anything. Like, I've always been a big fan of quality over quantity. Like, I'd rather have one girl, she just bad, smell good, smart, intelligent, you know, all these types of things, as opposed to like 10 mud ducks and water moccasins and they don't look good. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you got 10 girls, but none of them look good. I'd rather have one girl that look good. You know what I'm saying? Or if you're going to eat some good food, I'd rather have some quality. Y'all could eat Little Caesars pizza. I want a pizza that's just absolutely delicious with premium ingredients and brick oven, that type of stuff. So Jaron Ennis, all in all, he's looking like the man. The Via performance was highly impressive to me for the reasons I just stated. He got him up out of there, and Via is a tough customer. As far as Terence Crawford getting stripped, I mean, he's likely to fight Errol Spence next, so it's not really a surprise. People want to see the Boots Ennis fight, but we have to see, is he going to fight Errol Spence next? I wouldn't doubt also if Crawford moves up to 154, possibly for the Errol Spence fight. Maybe they can negotiate that, and that might be a reason they stripped him behind the scenes. If the rematch for Crawford and Spence is taking place at a higher weight class, as to not hold up the division and not allow Jaron Ennis a crack at what's rightfully his as mandatory, they might have just stripped him. I mean, this stuff happens all the time in boxing. Some people are going to be mad because it kind of gets in the way. Now you have Spence Crawford, which some people feel is it's an unnecessary evil, even seeing the rematch, and now it's one less belt. But this is what the sanctioning bodies do. You got to pay all this money, and then, you know, only certain people like Canelo Alvarez seem above the law, where he can just hold belts and defend against 154 pounders, or hold the belts hostage and fight Yildirim and stuff like that, and nothing ever happens. But guys like Terence Crawford, he's getting stripped for not fighting Jaron Ennis, when we already know the play. He got to fight Errol Spence most likely, or maybe he'll move up if the Spence fight, if they don't negotiate terms or whatever, maybe he'll move up and fight a Tim Tszyu or something like that. Nonetheless, it's looking like Jaron Boots Ennis got his wish. I know he probably didn't prefer to become a champion like this. He did want to fight against Terence Crawford, but you know, at the end of the day, he's just having trouble getting fights. They're saying Cody Crowley, oh, they got Meek right there. They're saying Cody Crowley pulled out, and Crawford has kind of little boyed him and say like, this ain't a big fight yet, and things like that. And I've heard this story, so the show must go on. This was cold. Ooh. So that's the latest. That's definitely the latest. Jaron Ennis is looking like the full champion. as of right now. I can't wait to see who's next for him. Let me know what you guys think should be next. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. What do you think of Crawford being stripped? Is it right? Is it wrong? Again, this stuff happens all the time. Jermell Charlo chose to fight Canelo and get the paycheck, so he couldn't defend against Tim Tszyu, so he got stripped of the WBO, and now Tim Tszyu became the champion in the same way as it looks like Jaron Ennis. Now, I will say, since Jaron Ennis is a black fighter, we've seen this play before where no one from old media really ridiculed. They didn't really ridicule guys like Tim Tszyu for being an email champ. But when it was Jermall Charlo and Canelo didn't fight him and he got his belt in a non-traditional way, or Devin Haney, how he got his belt because Lomachenko didn't fight him, they called him an email champ. So I wouldn't be surprised if you see the same thing with another black American fighter in Jaron Ennis out of Philly, where people start trying to harass him. He wanted to fight Crawford, so it doesn't really make sense to call him an email champ and things like that. He wanted to prove himself. I mean, no true fighter wants to get their belt by not beating a champion. So we know that about Jaron Ennis. We know he wants to fight the best. It's just a matter of the ducks lining up, the I's being dotted and the T's being crossed. So we'll see, but I wouldn't be surprised if old media is calling him an email champ, because this is not the standard way to become a champion by, default or a technicality. But let me know what you guys think. Drop your thoughts in the comment section. I'm truly the best in the business, and it's not even close. Congrats to Jaron Ennis. Can't wait to see what's next. Let me know is this fair, unfair? Subscribe to my channel. It's free. For your one-stop shop, all your boxing news, I got you covered. Subscribe. And I'm out.